Our servers are going to continue tonight. They'll bring some dessert here in a minute for you, and we hope you've enjoyed the slideshow, courtesy of Cindy and Hallie that put all the pictures together, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures that Jordan and family tried to cut down to a manageable group there. But you saw the many of the highlights of these two fine people here tonight. You saw many highlights of their lives, and I hope that you saw pictures of you as friends and everyone in there as well. So as we do this tonight, like I said, we're going to ask anybody that wants to speak. You're welcome to. I will start, and then Mr. Tim will come up, and then after that, any of the bridesmaids or groomsmen, just make your way up here, and that way you'll be able to be seen by everybody, heard by everyone. And we're here all night if you want to be, right, Hallie? We want to enjoy it tonight and share some of these stories with you. Nathan was born February 17th, 1997. I always love it because my kids, Jordan is September 13th, 93, so I can get the 13th and the 93 tied together and the 17th and the 97 tied together, so I can kind of remember my kid's birthday, and that's always a good thing. He came in at a healthy 8 pounds and 15 ounces, 21 inches long, and so he was almost full grown when he came here. I don't remember much about his early year or two. You know, moms are built to handle that. Us guys, the dads, if lots of times we're not, we don't have the natural parts to take care of that. But Nathan's son, you must have wore your mother out, because I can't count the number of times in that first few months and first year that I would come home or get out of bed in the morning, and I would come downstairs and Cindy would have you half undressed down there in a recliner, just passed out, and them trying to get through the night, and so he was hungry a lot, and so that was all that. Cindy had a proclivity, some of those embroidered things that you families bought for your kids, matching outfits and everything. She loved all that, and she dressed Nathan so good, and he was always looking so great. And as he grew older, he said, "Mom, why did you make me wear all those dresses?" Because lots of times he had on those little flowy things and everything, and we knew at that point in time he wanted to be a manly guy. After Nathan and Jordan were there for a little bit, I figured out real quickly. Cindy started talking about number 3, and bless you, Harrisons, and anybody that's got more than 2, I commend you. But I said they're not going to outnumber us. I can handle one, you can handle the other, and they're not going to outnumber us. And you always wonder what your kids are going to be when they grow up. And so Nathan, he started out, and you just really didn't know, but he fell in love with a whale named Free Willy. And so if you're like most parents, you want to make sure that your kids, live out their dreams. And so Nathan loved Free Willy. And so off to Disney World and SeaWorld we go. And so we've been at Disney World a couple of days. We're going to SeaWorld. The show starts at 9 a.m. The park opens at 9 a.m. The place where the whales are is on the far back side of the park. We want a front row seat. So we truck it through the park. We've gotten ready that day. Everybody's good. We've got a brand new video camera hanging around my neck, that's this big. And we're trucking it to the back side of the park. There's a family that meets us there. They're sitting dead center, but we get right behind them, and everything is good. I noticed a sign up there that said, when we came through, actually, there's a big fountain out there with a whale in the beginning of the stadium. Some of you may have been there. But we got there, and I see the song that says Splash On. I thought, okay, we'll be all right, no problem. And so we go through there. The show lasts an hour. Everything's good. The whales have jumped. The whales have eaten. The whales have done everything. All of a sudden, I look off to my left, and it's the final thing of the show, and that whale is coming down around the perimeter of that circle of that big tank and sweeping its tail this way, and there's just walls of water coming out of there. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And so the whale gets to us in the center, the family in front of us, they erupt in screams and everything. We are doused with it. We're erupting in screams. Nathan's crying. The video camera, Cindy's screaming at me, get the video camera, get the video camera. We get outside. We are so wet. I mean, I take off my shirt. I'm wringing it off. Cindy's got Nathan's shirt and everything off. And we're arguing a little bit because why did you make us sit there? You know, that was the me getting in trouble for where we sat. And we turn around and guess where old Nathan is? He's right there on that big pool. It had a little step about this big. He's standing over there. He's got his thing hanging out and just arching one into the pool. So the Glasgow family's over here arguing, and our kid, we can't find him. Nathan's, he was free and Willie. He was letting Willie free. That next year, 9/11 happened, and that was certainly a bad time in our nation and everything, but we had a trip planned that next fall break to go back to Disney World. Nathan wasn't hardly old enough the first time to ride any of those big fancy rides, and so we went back. We debated about do we go, do we not go. 9/11, you know, but we traveled down there. We went, the park was empty. I mean, we had the place to ourselves, and Nathan, he wanted to ride some stuff, and so we got over there to oh gosh, I wrote it down here somewhere, Space Mountain. And Nathan said, I want to ride Space Mountain, I want to ride Space Mountain. We thought a roller coaster at Space Mountain, you'd be sitting side by side. No, Space Mountain, you're sitting one behind each other. So Nathan sit in the front car, I sit right behind him, Jordan was behind me, Cindy's back here in the back. We go through Space Mountain, and they're screaming and carrying on, going on like anytime you're on a roller coaster. And Cindy jumps out of the back of that car, and she comes around, and she said, Nathan, are you all right? And he said, let's do that again. So I knew at that point in time, we had one that was not going to be fearful either. He was wonderfully and made without fearful. I do think that Disney World thing with all those fireworks over the castle sparked another thing, because Nathan has always loved fire. And he like you guys down there at Coal Fire, I mean, you know, he's in. He's always loved sparklers. He loved Roman candles. We used to shoot them at each other. He did that. So you were wondering what your kid's going to be. I thought, maybe an arsonist, a pyrotechnist. I don't know exactly what he's going to be, but I do think that that could be a Harrison construction long-term goal. He's just working there to learn enough about building buildings to know how to blow them up and demolish them like they did Tuck Hall and all that. You know, all those buildings like they implode. That may be Nathan's life goal there. But as he continued to grow up and everything in middle school, skateboarding and all that became his thing. Tony Hawk and Shawn White, snowboarding was his big things. We were fortunate enough to get to go to Colorado and Utah and ski and different things. And he loved snowboarding and snowboarding, and all that was good till we had a fractured wrist. One day when it was a spring break and he was on the golf team and he fractured his wrist, and that turned out to be not too good of a thing, because that caused him to miss some of the golf season and everything. But he loved all those water sports and snow sports. He loved that, and he's always been an outdoorsman guy. As a matter of fact, one of the first times we met the Harrisons, I believe it was the first times we met the Harrisons, we were all together. They were in Deer Valley. We were over in Park City. We had vacations planned and didn't even really know it together. And so we ended up meeting there for a great evening of dinner one night. So golf is where Nathan made a lot of his friends. All you guys over there's a lot of the golf is here. He played golf through much of his junior high and high school years, and it was all great. He made lots of friends through that. He helped me. It's one of the things that I didn't really play golf until Nathan kind of started, and I did, and so it's one of the things I look forward to now with my friends and my buddies on the weekends, to go out there and have some great fun and fellowship. We went out to Indian Hills today and had a great round of golf, and so that's all good. He was fortunate enough to get to play on 3 state championship golf teams. They won one year, they got second one year, and third one year, but they had a real great golf group and a good buddies that made friends for life, and so we're so proud of that. As he got a little older, on the golf story, if you've ever been to Gunner's Landing, you know that it's a very, very hilly course, and they will allow you to drive golf carts at 14 at Gunner's Landing. And so he started driving the golf cart, and then I went out one day in the spring, and I just bought a John Deere lawnmower. We have a lawn service that usually takes care of our lawn, and Cindy said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "If he's old enough to drive a golf cart at Gunner's Landing, he's old enough to mow the yard." So that's where we started trying to make his work ethic and everything where it is today, to understand that you can have fun, but you've also got to do some work in life, and so we hope that went away. Then they got into the boats and everything, and the first year that he was able to drive the boat, he said, "Dad, I know you normally go to the marina and get gas. Some of my friends' parents, and when we go to their house, they make them carry the gas down there in 5-gallon buckets, or 5-gallon cans." He said, "What do you want me to do?" And I said, "Well, son, y'all just go to the marina, put the gas in the boat, keep the boat full, so if me and your mom want to do there." The first gas bill, and that was at May when he got out of school, the first gas bill that came from the marina in June was a little bit over $1,000. I learned a lesson there. And Nathan, when he sets his mind on something, you're not going to change him. He wanted, for his 16th birthday, he wanted a little black sports coupe. So he undid it. 6'4" or 5", whatever he is, he had to fold up and get in that thing like I don't even know what, an accordion. His golf clubs, the golf bag wouldn't even fit in the back. Why? I don't know, but that's what he wanted, and he had saved his money and all the things that he did, and so you know how Nathan is. Sometimes that's just how it works. But Hallie, after high school, you kind of started coming into the picture as we moved into college life and the University of Alabama. Our daughter Jordan had been to Alabama. We had loved it for a long, long time. And so she came into his life, and she has been nothing but a joy for our family. She has just been incredible. She's obviously very beautiful. She's got the great personality. She's so easygoing. A lot of times they're so easygoing, we never know what time they're going to get home, when they're coming home for the holidays or whatever, but they are very easygoing, and they were great. I thought you were great the first time we met you, and you continue to get greater every time that we spend time with you, and so I absolutely love that. In case you're wondering, Hallie was the first one to make the move. She invited Nathan to a date party. And then she invited him, I think, to a concert she was sharing just a few minutes ago, but she made the first move and everything. And so, Nathan, son, it's a good thing that you joined fraternity, because you probably wouldn't have had that opportunity. When Jordan was in school, Nathan said, "Who in the world would want to be in a fraternity? All that is rent a friend." And he said, "You give me the money and I'll spend my time out at the golf course." But anything, it turned out good. Football was also a great thing. You folks have lived through the greatest decade of football in the sports history, probably, for college football and everything. And Hallie was on Capstone, Nathan, and they went through all these things together. We got to enjoy some national championships together, and I am so proud, just so proud, that they learned the commandments from the Saban Bryant version of the Alabama Football Bible. And one of those I was reading yesterday, it says, "Thou shalt not have weddings, or thou shalt have weddings in February through August as fall weekends for football, and thou shalt not plan activities on the third Saturday in October that keeps fellow Roll Tiders from focusing on beating Tennessee." So everything they've done, they did a lot of good things, but I don't know where that lesson got lost. But I think it boils down to Nathan. Because if Nathan had proposed 6-8 months earlier, like me and his mama tried to talk him into, we wouldn't be in this predicament that we're in tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have a great day. We're going to holler Roll Tide. I hope there's no Tennessee folks in here tonight. But if you are, it's going to be a great day anyway. And that's what Hallie kept saying, only this year would it be that Tennessee's good. You know, they haven't been good in 15 years, so that's how it is. I appreciate both of your careers. Y'all have, Nathan worked for us in our family business part-time while he was growing up and everything. Of course, when he moved away from school, then he started working for Tim and Harrison Construction on an odd job there at Bryant Bank as he was in his senior year and everything. And it's just a great thing for him, and I'm so proud of what he's done. The Homewood Suites Hilton that you're staying in there. If you're unfamiliar, Nathan worked on that project a lot with Harrison Construction as they built that hotel there. He's also worked on several other buildings here in Tuscaloosa, and we couldn't be more proud. I have to think about your grandfathers. They would be so proud of you and your work ethic and the things I hear from some of the people that you work with at the McGiffords house when we had the Tuscaloosa party. Some of the things that your co-workers shared with me, your grandfathers would be so proud. Hallie, I couldn't be more proud of you either. You started nursing in the worst health care crisis in a century, and I never heard you complain about it. I heard you say there were some tough days. I heard you say it's bad, but I never heard you really complain. I never heard you say that, oh, I'm not going to work. That's a testament to your work ethic as well, and your compassion and your care for people. And so that's what life's a lot about, folks. It's a lot about work. And so these two have shown that work ethic, and we're certainly proud of them for that. I'm so thankful that you both are Christians. I'm so thankful that you have that foundation to start on, and you start your foundation of life together on that solid rock. We've prayed, son Nathan, your mom has prayed probably since you were a small child, and for your spouse to be someday. And Hallie, even though she hadn't prayed for you by name, she's prayed for somebody like you that would love Nathan, would help him, support him, and that Nathan would find somebody that he could love and support. And she has done that for many, many, many years. And I know that that's an answered prayer that you came into our lives at this point in time. And so we are so thankful for these past few years. We wish nothing more than the best for both of you as you continue on. And we just look forward to sharing our lives together with you in the future. God bless you.
Well, Linda, when you gave me the option to go first or second, I messed up. I should have went first. Miss Bonnie, Miss Betty, where are y'all? Where are they? I'm going to try to keep this PG-13, okay? Just bear with me, okay? Nathan, you really want Sunday to get here pretty quick, don't you? I mean, you're like, I want to get past this. You're ready to land this airplane, right? Well, Hallie, and within an hour this morning, I talked to Sharon and I talked to Mandy, and both of them said the same thing to me. Sharon said this morning when I get up, Hallie's been preparing for this day since she was 6. Mandy said 4.5. So, as you know, Hallie, she is a princess. She is a pure, I mean, that was her. Some of the pictures you see her in, the crowns. She's always been our princess, and we love her. It's tough sometimes, isn't it, girls? It really is. We've grown to adore her and live with her in all of her quirky ways. And so, Nathan, you got your work cut out for you. Okay? So, I do know Nathan, obviously, from working with him and from being around him, and I didn't really get to know him that well until I got to interview his groomsmen. I spent a little time with him over the past few months or so. Some of them at the farm, some of them at the party at Gunnersville. One of them I got to know on Zoom. He, one morning, called in on the Zoom meeting. I couldn't get him to the farm. I missed him at the party. And he was in his boxers and a wife beater at 8 o'clock in the morning. Through these interviews and through these conversations with these boys, I learned that I liked a lot of them a lot less than I liked the others. A friend of mine tells a good story about y'all. It said basically, and I'm going to read this verbatim. He says, if all these boys' brains were made of leather, you'd have a hard time finding enough material to sew a saddle for a gnat. But I'll tell you, on an emotional note, y'all are special tonight. Y'all are very special. Y'all are very close. I call it special ed, but y'all are special. I've kind of nicknamed y'all the short bus boys. Okay. So Kay, where are you at, Kay? There you go. So here's through the conversations I've had with these boys, there was one quote among them that I kept, and I've written these down. And so I'm going to go through these one by one. I'm going to read them real slow because these boys, they need to understand. So Kay, late the other night at the party, comes up to me and says, Mr. Tim, he says, I'm pretty sure I'm Cindy's favorite son now. I know I will be if I can give her my first grandchild. Eric? Where you at, Eric? There you go. Eric says, I'm still mad at Nathan for giving Hallie a ring so early. Damn, Abby's really been on my butt. Walker. This may be my favorite. Walker was Nathan's roommate here in Tuscaloosa, right? Yeah. Walker said, I'm a little jealous of Nathan getting engaged and married. I haven't really been successful with women. However, I am going to a family reunion next week, and all the possibilities are there. Cole, where you at, son? Miss Sharon said, I can't talk to you, you killed a witch. Trevor? Where's Trevor? Yeah, have y'all ever seen Trevor's handwriting? Well, the night I was with him, he needed to write. He didn't need to talk. So his handwriting's not that good. And so I actually got the note here that he left me, and it says, Nathan went away from his group of friends in high school in the 11th grade when he went through that thespian stage. You know, I never saw him in a single play. Colby. Oh, yeah. Colby said, I'm just glad he moved back to Tuscaloosa so I can get a better parking place to work. Justin, where are you? Justin said, this is perfect. Justin said, I was always a better golfer than Nathan. And then I got off the phone with him because he was a kid in the boxes and the wife beat on Zoom. Cass Little, Nathan is freshman. Look, you were a senior and Nathan was a freshman, yeah. And you were the bootlegger, right? Okay. Cass said if it weren't for me, he would still been a thespian in college. Ross and John David said, can we just skip the wedding? They're not letting us walk with anybody anyway. So, guys, seriously, getting to know y'all, getting to know you, and how y'all feel about Nathan really is proven to me, and now I know why he has become friends with the two biggest moral degenerates in the room, Ray Pruitt and Mike D, because he's used to it. One of the things that I have done over the years is there's some sayings that I've collected. I've got a note thing on my iPad, and when I hear something that I like or hear something that's meaningful, I'll jot it down. And so I've got probably hundreds of them on the notes, and so I kind of went through them and tried to apply them to Nathan and Hallie, and I'm going to read these to you if you don't mind. And again, I'm going to talk slow for the short bus boys so y'all can understand this, okay? Nathan, you probably heard us say this before. This ain't checkers, son, this is chess, and you fix to play with the master. Hallie, it's hard to shake hands with a clenched fist. Nathan, don't pick a fight with anything meaner than you. Hallie, life is simpler when you plow around the stump. Nathan, there ain't no education in the second kick of a mule. Hallie, don't go banging your shin on a stool that's not in the way. Nathan, if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. Hallie, you can't say an uncruel word. Nathan, silence is sometimes the best answer. Hallie, words that are soaked into your ear are whispered, not yelled. Nathan, if you don't take time to do it right, you'll take time to do it again. Hallie, don't interfere with something that ain't bothering you at all. Nathan, the key to wisdom is the knowledge of your own ignorance. Now both of you. This is for both of you together. When you wallow with pigs, you're going to get dirty. Marriage is not a straight line. It's a series of advances with a few retreats. The best sermons are lived, not preached. Borrowing trouble from the future does not deplete the supply. The biggest troublemaker you will ever have to deal with watches you in the mirror every morning. Good judgment comes from experience. Most of that comes from bad judgment. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. One of my favorites is timing. Timing has to do with the success of a rain dance. So, let me start back over. Let me tell you about Nathan. And first of all, I got to tell you a little bit about what it takes to date a Harrison girl. If you were a Harrison girl in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I spent a lifetime getting prepared for them going out with boys. I did my dangest to earn a reputation, and a bad reputation, with the boys. I taught them how to hunt. I taught them how to kill big deer before these boys could hunt. I taught them how to drive tractors. I taught them how to drive buggies. They were a pretty intimidating group. And being a contractor and big equipment and big trucks, I brought a pretty intimidating picture. A lot of boys wouldn't date my girls because of me, which was fine. If they weren't man enough to come see me in the face, I didn't want them. I've sent them away crying. I've threatened them. They may have been one to put my hands on. I don't know. But Hallie kind of coasted through this dating process with these girls, and with these boys, and there was two that stood out in my mind. One of them is unnamed, and I won't name the kid because there's probably some people in there who know it. But the boy's goal in life was to be a sharecropper on a cannabis farm. And for the short bus crew, that cannabis is Latin for marijuana, okay? There was another kid one time, a kid by the name of Carter McGill. Okay, now, this apple knocker rolls up in some kind of white Dodge Duster with pipes or Charger or something. Gets out of his car and to pick up my daughter, and has that flat bill hat on when he comes up to the door. He made two mistakes that night. One of them was wearing that flat bill hat, and the other one was when he walked back to the car and looking back at me, and I flashed the butt of my pistol out of my vest. And he brought Hallie home at 10 o'clock and went back out. Lendl, you're right. I was interviewing Hallie, and I think the first time that I did get to see Nathan was at the concert, and I think she did bring him over the house, and I think at some point he was fixing to walk in the house with a hat on, but I think she did tell him to leave the hat in the car. But the Glasgow family values are embedded in. understanding Nathan, he's a polite young man. Yes, sir, he opens doors. He's nice to Miss Sharon. He's a neat kid, clean kid, drove a Chevy, hunted. Not really good on equipment, but we're working on that. He tears up a lot. But one of my real tests with him was putting with a guy named Larry when he did the bank for us. Larry is a crusty old superintendent. I think he gets up grumpy in the morning and he walks behind his truck and kicks his shin into the hitch of his truck just to get mad again on purpose. But Larry I trust him. He's a seasoned guy, and it's a testament to Nathan that he gained that man's respect. He did it on his own. He did it without me. He did it without anybody. He did it. He did it. And when you gain Larry Wyndham's respect, you gain the company's respect. And to this day, and I think he'll be there tomorrow night, I'm sure he will, but he loves Nathan Glasgow. So when you talk about the 6-month duration of trying to get him to ask Hallie to marry him, the weekend that hey, Mr. Tim, Hallie was working, Mr. Tim won't come down the farm, it was obvious was what was fixing to happen. So he came down, and Sharon and I were down there, and he came Hallie was working in town, and he came spent the weekend with us, and we got there Friday night, nothing happened. We got up Saturday morning, did our normal feeding around the farm. I figured by the time we got to the zoo field, he'd asked me. Didn't happen. Didn't happen Saturday night. I get up Sunday morning, we go back on another ride. I figured it's going to happen. Didn't happen. Sharon left about 12:30 to go to a shower. We're sitting out in the driveway. I said, Nathan, is there something you need to ask me? But he did, and we're proud. You know, there's a concept out there about a village, and it taking a village to raise a child. Well, our village consisted of Sharon and myself, Hallie, Sharon and myself, Addison, Claire, and Clint, Mandy, the Johns, Caroline, and Zach. She's tough. She's tough to raise. She's tough to live with. You're going to learn patience. You're going to learn a lot of patience. Her early years, it was all we could do to get her to school, and then she'd forget something, and we'd have to take it back. But it doesn't stop in her early years, in her nursing years at home. It's all Sharon and I can do to get her out of the morning. And we get her out. We sometimes have to take her badge to work with her. We sometimes twice, yes. We sometimes have to take her money, take her food, whatever. But when she gets there, it's another gear. It's that kid that takes care of people, that's a caregiver, that is true to her soul. If you were ever in that position and needed somebody to take care of you, she would be the one to do it. She's respected among her peers, and we love her to death. So I guess Glasgow's, I guess y'all are in the village now. So we need the help. Hallie. Time's not going to allow me to stand up here and say all I want to say about you. I love you. How do moms and dads love 3 daughters? We love them all the same. We love them all differently. It's amazing that you don't love one any less than you love the other. You love them differently. Sometimes real differently with Hallie, but you love them differently. Hallie, your stages of life: princess, snappy dresser, trooper at Camp Skyline, cheerleader, basketballer, hunter jumper, deer slayer, in pink gloves, purple sweaters, and lots of perfume, homecoming queen, capstone woman, and registered nurse. That's a pretty good accomplishment. That I tried to mark the times in your life, the things that were most memorable to me, and those are the things that it did. You know, tonight and tomorrow, your two sisters are going to allow you to move to favorite daughter status for a couple of days. Okay, they're gonna give you that with me, and I hope you enjoy it. Of all three of our daughters, during your formative years, I was a little worried about you. What I always perceived as undecisiveness is your uncanny ability to look at all sides and relative issues and always make the right decisions. And, you know, your mom and I are certain that you went through this process when selecting Nathan to be your husband. Let me reread that. That was supposed to be... Was that one of the... So here you are, back at the princess stage. Tonight you're a princess. This is you. This is what you've been grooming for all of your life. You will become a wife. You will become a mother, and who knows what else. On a sad note, for me, at least, you'll have to put Nathan first, but I damn well better be second. You know, I guess we can all sit up here and give you the stupid advice, not stupid advice, give you advice about not going to bed mad and things that we'll try to do. But I'll say this to you, and this will be my last statement. It has been said that man can argue about God's existence. When he looks at his daughter, there's no doubt. I wish y'all a wonderful life. We're here for you. Your family's here for you. Our new family's here for you. Your village is here for you. Congratulations.
Hello. For those that have not gotten to meet, I'm Claire. I am the oldest sister of Hallie. I've had the privilege for knowing Hallie her entire life. Addison and I, the youngest sister, come over here. You're back then. Addison did not speak at my rehearsal dinner, so now I'm having her up here now so that she can speak. And so I can embarrass both her and Hallie at the same time. Addison and I knew from a very early age that Hallie was just, very special and a little bit different than than Addison and I were. Addison and I were pretty decisive. Things that would take Addison and I maybe 3 minutes, it would take Hallie 3 hours to make the same call. We had to analyze how that person felt about the decision, how their significant other felt about the decision, how their entire family felt about the decision before we made the decision. And growing up, it was very annoying, Geez, you just make a call. But looking back, I think Dad spoke to this a little earlier. We knew that Hallie just cared so deeply for other people, and that was why it took so long to make those decisions. Hallie felt everything about 100 times harder than the normal person. She takes things so deeply to heart, and feels it truly. Your happiness is her happiness. Your sadness is her sadness. Your deepest sorrows are her sorrows. And we also knew that loving her, just like loving anybody, would require someone very, very special, and with a lot of patience. And Addison and I knew growing up that when she brought him around, we were going to know pretty quickly that he was the right person. We were right. We knew pretty quick that Nathan, if he could stick around through all of Hallie's depth and feeling and deep intensity, was the perfect person for Hallie. But notice I didn't say immediately, I said pretty quickly. When Hallie told me initially about Nathan, I think it came on the heels of, yes, this is the guy that left Grace at the date party, but that was just a misunderstanding. Like, it's not a big deal. And I think that might be fleshed out a little later tonight, so I'll leave that to people who are better able to provide that story some depth. But it was proven to me that Nathan was going to stick around and be the person for Hallie pretty early on in their relationship. Hallie and I lived together in my first year of law school and her sophomore year of college. And we had some pretty great times those times. Nathan was around during those times. Hallie was a much brighter person during those times. She would just light up when he came around. And I really enjoyed him being around during that time. But there is a specific story that comes to mind when I think of that time, and that really solidified that Nathan was going to be the guy that was going to be around for the rest of my life. Y'all know Hallie's a nurse, right? That's her profession. She's very, very good at it. And I think she's very good at it because she cares so deeply for other people. So one night, as I'm at home reading, she is getting ready to go out to dinner, and she's very excited. She's going to one of her favorite places. She's going to Chuck's to eat sushi with Nathan. And she's not feeling great. You know, she's a little under the weather. She is like, I'm just going to take some cough syrup. I'll be fine. We'll get over it. No big deal. I'm like, all right, sounds good. Y'all have fun. I'll see you later. Later on that night, I hear the door open. And I don't hear anything after that. And normally I hear, hey, Claire, or hey, I'm home, or something like that. I yell for Hallie. I do not hear a response. And much later on, I hear a, hey, Claire. And so I come running around the corner, and it's Nathan, and he is absolutely doing the Lord's work. And he is cleaning off half-eaten sushi from our front door. Because what I later found out is that in her excitement to go on this dinner date with Nathan, Nurse Hallie, soon to be Nurse Hallie, had taken, I think, 3 to 4 times the recommended dosage of 4 years expired cough syrup. Yeah. So and then went to dinner. And so then got home and got sick. So why tell that story other than to embarrass your sister at her rehearsal dinner and to show y'all how deeply Nathan must care for her to clean half-eaten sushi off of my front door. That's just one story of the many, many that I could stand up here and tell to explain that Nathan knows just what he's getting in a wife, and he is going to be there for her and match that every single step of the way, to be there for her and care for her in the trenches. And he knows, and it shows me, that when Hallie loves and cares and pours her heart into their marriage, their future children, their life together, maybe even sometimes to her detriment, that Nathan is going to give that back to her tenfold. He's going to match her, encourage her, and lift her up always. And that's all you can ever ask for as a big sister. That my little, big-hearted, feels everything 20,000 times more intensely than anybody I could ever know does, has that. And I'm so excited for the both of you, and I pray that God blesses your marriage, and can't wait to see how the two of y'all grow together and grow outward. And we love you.
Hello everyone, I'm Addison. I'm the maid of honor, and I'm also Claire and Hallie's youngest sister, aka the oops sister that came 15 months after Hallie was born. So I don't know, y'all can do the math. I'm not really good at math. So, but being only 15 months younger than Hallie, we obviously are very close, and one would suspect we've always been that way. But when I asked Mom if she had any sweet memories of Hallie and I growing up, the only thing that she could think of was how we, quote, used to slap the S-H-I-T out of each other in the backseat of our car. Thanks, Mom. I needed a sweet story, but okay. But then, I'll explain, don't worry. But then she said, when I would turn around and ask what y'all were doing back there, you both would say, nothing, we're just loving each other. We never ratted each other out, and that's how she earned the title as my long-life partner in crime. Thankfully, a life of crime was not in the cards for us at all. We were never really good at it. We always got caught, especially if we were making fun of Claire or Zach. We always ganged up on them. We always got in trouble. It never worked out for us. But regardless, Hallie was and still is my best friend. I'm not going to get through this part. I'm so sorry. Ooh, sorry. Okay. And Hallie, I want you to know that I struggled really hard writing this because, dang it, girl, it's your fault. Okay. Excuse me. I struggled really hard writing this because I couldn't think of anything perfect to say to describe just how much I love you. There are no words good enough to define the kind of sister. Dang, girl. There are no words good enough to define the kind of sister you are to me. And I know all of y'all are wondering, how did you turn out so great, Addison? And first of all, thank you. I know. And second of all, Hallie played a huge part in that, especially, and Claire. They played a huge part of the woman that I am today. I walked through life in her footsteps, wanting to do everything that she did. We played the same sports, we joined the same clubs, I even followed her to college, we roomed together in college. And it wasn't because I wanted to copy her. I really would never give her that satisfaction of knowing that. But it was because I watched everything she did and all that she accomplished. Everything she tried, she set her mind to. She could accomplish anything, and her ambition set the bar so extremely high, and she constantly encouraged me to reach out and grab that bar. And I would, and sometimes with success, and sometimes I would just fall flat on my face. But how was I not supposed to reach for the stars when I truly believe that you hung the moon? Okay, and I watched you conquer the whole universe. You inspire me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. You inspire me every day. You're so kind-hearted and intelligent and compassionate and just brutally honest sometimes. I'm like, you've been so honest that you earned the title of brutally honest Hallie. I don't know if any of y'all know that, but she will tell you like she sees it. So you taught me how to care for others, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that you will be an amazing wife to Nathan. And now Nathan, I never thought that anyone could understand or love Hallie as much as Claire and I do. But then you came along, and my memory is really terrible, especially the early days of Hallie and Nathan dating. I don't really remember much, but I do just have this I do remember having this gnawing urge to just warn him, Claire and I, it took a long time to become experts in the language of Hallie, but I knew that we had a lot to teach Nathan, and he was our newest member of the team, so we were actually really happy to share that responsibility because, like my dad said earlier, it takes a village, and so we were happy to have another member of our team. But Nathan did catch on very quickly to Hallie's, would you say mannerisms, I guess? Okay. They soon became each other's better half. For example, Nathan can be very responsible, but Hallie will forget her luggage at home and not notice until we get all the way to the airport. And then she'll blame me for not grabbing it for her. So, but Nathan, at least now she can survive a whole trip to the Bahamas with nothing but the clothes on her back. So you don't have to buy her anything else. Another example is that Hallie is the most amazing nurse. She truly is, and it's such a good thing that she is, because Nathan has a real tendency to just faint like a goat, especially at high altitudes. Like the time Hallie had to rescue Nathan when he fainted immediately upon arrival to our ski resort. He hit the door frame so hard, I thought he broke his collarbone, and he just went down like a ton of bricks. And Hallie was so sweet to take care of him. But funny enough, the one story that was very pivotal in involving my relationship with Nathan is actually one that you just heard from Claire. The cough syrup story. Little did Claire know I was actually there with them that night, because I just kind of invited myself along to their Chuck's Day. I love sushi, so whatever. I really don't know how I ended up going, but I'm pretty sure I just invited them. Yeah, I just said, come pick me up, okay? But they picked me up, and I immediately noticed that Hallie was acting really weird. Like, I asked her a couple of times what was going on, and she just was talking nonsense. And so I later discovered it was because of too much expired cough syrup. And just like Claire said, she's an amazing nurse. I promise y'all, she really is, okay? So we're at dinner, and Hallie is just Rocket Man level in her own universe. But that gave Nathan and I ample opportunity to just get to know each other a little bit better, and we just had the best conversations while Hallie was in her own world. And I'll never forget that night just because of that. And I also noticed that night what great care of Nathan took of my sister. He never made her feel bad about the fact that she overdosed herself on hydrocodone. He was very kind and very concerned for her well-being. Nathan, you are the perfect man for my sister, and I know you will always take such great care of her for the rest of y'all's life. I have never seen a happier version of Hallie, and I know it has mostly to do with you, and so I will always forever be grateful for that. You fit right into our family since day one, and it's not because you're the only significant other who'll go to the farm with my dad, but with your go with the flow attitude, you really truly embrace our family and all of its quirks, and I am so excited to formally welcome you into the family and get to call you my brother. So Nathan and Hallie, I wish you two a lifetime of happiness, and I cannot wait to watch your love continue to grow. Cheers to the Glasgows.
We'll make this entertaining. So, if you don't know, Hallie and I were best friends in middle school and high school. I can't do this, but I'll be fine. Hang on, give me a second. And so I kind of have played that role. So I'll let Eric introduce himself too.
So I'm Eric. I know most of y'all in here. So me and Nathan go way back. Back to preschool days. Always together. Thought we were brothers probably most of the time. We had many different life phases. Skater boys, as Lynn talked about. Paintball. Professional drummers. We thought we could do it all. Then we get older, head to middle school. Golf was the next phase. Turned out pretty well. It was the dream team. State championships, good years. Had the downfalls. Nathan and Trevor running the golf course, throwing trash in the lunchroom. Talk about it later with them.
So Hallie came into my life in middle school, the weirdest time of anyone's life. I would probably say Hallie and I looked the exact same as we did in middle school, which was great for us. We did great. And it was horribly awkward. We were trying to find friends, and this was Hallie and I's first adventure at Boys. While trying to figure out who we are, and as you've heard stories about Hallie, I feel like I've lived a lot of those stories. it's been fun to hear about them. And we even had our first round at dating best friends. But that's kind of where the story begins.
After high school, so me and Nathan were headed to Tuscaloosa, some of the best years of our lives. Many great friends, trips, especially one beach trip with the shaved heads. The hair's still struggling to come back. And I don't know if Cindy's forgiven us for that one, but it was worth it.
So most people don't know, but Hallie and I didn't go to the same high school together, and she was at the private school and I was at the public school, but Lord only knows why and how we remained close all those years. You probably saw some pictures, but one of the things is that I'll never forget is her being homecoming queen. I literally left my high school football game and was benched because I was like, I'm never missing this moment. I think we knew we needed each other and knew we'd be best friends through it all. I'll give it back to more fun.
So, a couple years through college, we start hearing of this girl named Hallie, and we're like, who's this? Like, from Tuscaloosa. And then Nathan comes around less and less and less. And we're like, okay. So we meet her. She's great. We all love her. And we're like, this is the one. Except word on the street is Nathan turned her down the first time she tried to get hooked up with him. And I guess that kind of elaborates on Grace's story with him, too.
So Hallie's always been the tall, blonde, beautiful, sweet, and attractive person in every room. She lit up everywhere she went, and she wasn't intimidating. She was warm and able to become just as ordinary as all of us. And I was the outspoken 5'4", brown-headed sidekick. So we both have always been able to hold our own, just like from all those other stories, but somehow we made each other better. So I'll kind of switch over to when I met Nathan, and he said, "Hey Abby, I'm Nathan. It's a pleasure to meet you." He had literally zero clue who I was at this point. Hallie introduced me as, "Hey, this is Abby." She was like one of my best friends from high school. He had no clue who I was, what I was capable of. And the only thing I was thinking this whole time was, what does Tim Harrison think? Soon enough, I was telling everyone that Hallie had found a guy that wore boots. He said, yes, ma'am. He was blonde, driven, and taller than her. And most importantly, he loved who she was. Every inch, every laugh, every funny inside joke that people thought was weird between us, he loved it. And just as her best friend, that's all I could have asked for. So fast forward 6 months later, kind of a reason why Eric and I are up here. Hallie texts me that Nathan's best friend needs a date to a date party. And at this point I was like, oh, it's just a casual friend. But long story short, here Eric and I are, and that's a story we'll tell for years and years because these are our best friends. Not just individual stories, they now have kind of become one. So, what a blessing and an answered prayer. So, but.
So, Nathan and Hallie, wish y'all the best. Love y'all so much. Can't wait for the many years to come and the trips to experience with y'all. Cheers.
Hey everyone, if I have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet, my name is Lizzie Bonhouse. I'm one of Hallie's bridesmaids. So, like I said, I don't know if I've been able to meet many of you, but I'm the oldest of 4 girls, and I never had an older sister, and that's what Hallie was to me. I was a little 7th grader, wrangly, skinny girl, just floppy everywhere, and went to cheer practice for one of the first times, and there was somebody that looked like me over in the tall people corner. And I was in 7th grade at the time. Hallie was in 9th, and I was like, I think that I'm gonna like this girl. And from 7th grade on, I think the biggest word to describe you is warm. You've always been warm to every single person around you. Doesn't matter who they are, you treat everyone the same. With so much love, kindness in your heart, you can see it all over. You swooped me right under my 5'9", 100-pound, wrinkly, grangly, I don't even know the word to describe me, and made me your little sister. And so I will always be thankful for that. I know you have 2 beautiful, wonderful sisters, but I will always be thankful for you taking me under your wing. Nathan, I think the first time that Hallie introduced you to me, I was a freshman in college, and she was like, Lizzie, come by to Sigma New House tonight. I have somebody I want you to meet. And I was like, okay. She's never said this before, so it must be kind of serious. Went and met you, much like everyone else says. It worked. The first time I met you, I couldn't have put Hallie with anyone else. And it's evident by all these people in here that love both of you so much, how well y'all go together and how much you're loved. So Hallie, I love you. You're an amazing human, and I hope you feel that. And Nathan, I know you feel that too. And y'all are lucky to have each other, and you will have a life full of blessings and supermodel tall babies. So cheers to y'all. Love you both.
So I'm not a microphone person. Everybody hear me? I'm liable to bust out in karaoke tonight if I pick that thing up. So unfortunately, I don't know a lot of faces in this room tonight, but I want to introduce myself. So my name is Zach Johns. I am Claire, Hallie, and Addison's older, much better looking cousin. I am the firstborn grandchild, and I am the only child of my parents, right? So these 3 have been really, really, really special to me in their lives, right? They are not cousins, they are sisters. They are sisters. I can vividly, I was telling Caroline, my wife, I was telling her the other day, I can vividly remember the day that each and every single one of them was born. Being the only child, being the oldest grandchild, there was nobody else around to hang out with other than old people. And your dad was hell on my toys, right? He tore up everything I ever got. But I just vividly remember how excited I was and the memories that we've made, the special times that we've had together. And that's not lost on me. That fact isn't lost on me. That is a great and it's a wonderful blessing, and I appreciate that so very much. I appreciate you involving me and Caroline in your lives. That's been such a blessing to me. All right. So Caroline and I, let's see, let me see if I can get this right. 2 weeks from today, right? Have I got that right? Our anniversary. We'll have been married 5 years. Okay. So Nathan, write this down. I was more nervous about speaking tonight because I was worried I was going to forget that and get myself in trouble. So write it. Either tattoo that on your arm or carry it in a card in your wallet. You always want to remember the day that you got married. All right. And our marriage in that short time, there have been some dark days. There have been some dark days. There have been some deep valleys. All right. But tough times don't last. They never do. Tough people last, and strong relationships last. All right. So what you have done to this point in your relationship, the step that you are going to take tomorrow, those are strong cornerstones for a successful marriage. All right. But marriage is a journey. It takes work. It takes effort. It's not a destination. You don't get there tomorrow. You don't get there in 5 years. You don't get there in 10 years. All right. You get out of marriage exactly what you put into it. It's just like anything else in life. Your academic career, your athletic career, playing golf, your career as a professional, right? You get out of it exactly what you put into. Okay. So my advice to you two is never quit working on each other. All right. Man and woman were made to have a partner. God's clear about that in the Bible. It's all over the place, right? Treat each other as partners. Treat each other as equals. Now, there's a bunch of other advice I could go into. Your dad said it, don't go to bed angry, all those other sort of things. But you're going to find out what's best for you two on your own. All right. And the last thing I want to leave you with is I want you to take a look around this room right now. Look at all the faces that are in here. Okay. These people didn't come to get a free beer and a free meal. They are here because they love you. They are here because they care about you. They're here because you are an important part of their lives. When times get tough, remember the faces in this room, all right? Lean on them. Lean on them. We are so very happy for you guys. We are so thankful for you. Nathan, I've got some, like Addison and Claire said, I've got some tricks too. I'll write them down. Maybe I need to start a notebook, because we'd be here all night if I tried to get into them, son. All right, so again, thank you guys for just always involving me, Caroline, and our family in your lives, and best of luck.
Looks like one of y'all are coming.
I'll go first.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm kind of like a Southern Baptist preacher when I get a microphone in front of me. We might be here for 10 minutes or it might be 45, 50. But I will say, I'm going to get back on Tim. If he thinks all of us from Gunnersville are on a short bus, I'd probably be driving that short bus. I will be the first to admit I was the ringleader in a lot of stuff that we got involved in, and I think that's pretty evident. But I'm just going to reflect on a couple stories, which I know there's a blue million. And before I get started, I'm going to quote. So we've got a group message from high school that's got me in it, it's got Nathan in it, it's got Eric Yarbrough in it, it's got Cole Carver in it, and it's got Justin Perry in it. There's 5 of us in that group text. And I really think that group text has been around since I was probably in 8th or 9th grade. I mean, it's been my whole life. The group text is called Dream Team. That's kind of gay, but that's just what it's called. When we were in high school, we actually went to this barbecue restaurant. I was in probably 9th or 10th grade. I'm a year older than Nathan, Eric, and Cole, Perry, and me. We're the same age. But we were at a barbecue restaurant one night, and we were going to win state championship. We were going to be state champs in golf. I mean, that was evident. So I was like, okay, so let's sign the wall, and let's just put Dream Team, and that's it. So sure enough, I write Dream Team, and we all saw. I don't even know where we were at. We were in the middle of nowhere, coming home from golf. Needless to say, we endured that. We won that state championship. But so that was awesome. But I say all that to say, Nathan's great. Nathan's that friend that everybody wants. So now I will go to our beach trip that I think Eric and Abby kind of touched on, but it was when all our heads got shaved. So we get to the beach, and Nathan's always been the guy that he didn't really talk to girls. I mean, not that we ever thought he was different, but he just didn't talk to girls. So needless to say, this whole beach trip, Nathan is in his phone. I mean, can't get out of his phone. So we're like, what are you doing? So he starts talking about a girl named Hallie. Hallie this, Hallie that, Hallie this, Hallie that. So we start getting invested, and we figure out who Hallie is, and needless to say, 5, 6, 7 years. I think Obama was president when they were figuring all this out. And here we are 15 years later, and we finally hear that Hallie's awesome. I mean, there is no other than Hallie Harrison. Hallie's great. But, so we're on this beach trip. I don't even know who's all on it. There's probably 10 to 15 of us guys. I don't know who has a bright idea, but needless to say, I really think it was me. I end up going to Walmart, and I buy like a $20 set of clippers. So I come back to the house. Lindell paid for a lot of stuff in high school. But the clippers were probably one of the, like Lindell said, the gas bill. I probably helped contribute to that gas bill here and there. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of untold stories at this podium. And that's on behalf of Nathan and for me and my friends. So we're at the beach trip. And needless to say, the clippers get brought out. I don't even know what time it was. But after the clippers got brought out, it was me, Nathan, Nick Moran, Charlie, there was at least 6 to 8 of us guys that literally no guard shaved our heads. I mean, we went from looking just clean cut to 0. And Nathan had never shaved his head before. So as we're shaving Nathan's head, his hairline just keeps receding. And we're like, dude, I was like, I gotta fix that. So I keep just knocking him back, and at the end of it, I'm like, dude, you like damn airbender off Avatar. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So we wake up the next morning, and I think Cindy's called at least 55 times. I mean, we're all panicking. I know Cindy's really panicking because she's just hoping she's going to wake up from a nightmare, but that wasn't the case. But I said all that to say that was a great memory with Nathan, and it was kind of the first time that we all got introduced to Hallie just through Nathan. And then I'll touch on a story, and I'm not going to go into much detail because this is throwing me so far under the bus, you might as well grab me by the shoulders and sling me. But I got introduced to a drink called Beatbox. I don't know if anybody knows what Beatbox is, but it's just a box of basically liquor wine is the best way to put it. Well, this was my first night to meet Hallie. The first night. And Nathan has talked this girl up like, this will be the girl that you're going to be at the podium at one night in my rehearsal dinner talking at. And here we are. So Hallie has she has been that person for Nathan, and it's evident. But we're at Eric Yarbrough's Lake House, which we spent many, many nights at, and I've gotten deep in this beatbox. Next thing I know, I wake up the next morning, my mom's sitting right there at me, asking if I've got a pulse, and I'm like, God, what has happened? So I call Nathan. I'm like, Nate, dude, I don't really know what happened last night. I was like, but it's Hallie, we're good there? And he's like, don't worry about that. He was like, and like Tim and everybody spoke on, Hallie's worried about people. Hallie was worried about me. I'm kind of the guy, when I knew I was heavy in that beatbox, I just disappeared. I was gone. There was no like, hey, I'm sick, hey, I don't feel well. I just was gone. Nobody knew where Trevor Connor was at. But needless to say, everybody's taking care of me that night, and I've went into way too much detail. But I was well taken care of, and I think that has a lot to do with Hallie just being a people person and caring for people. But we got over that hump. So I say all that to say, you two are meant for one another. It's been an honor to get to know you, Hallie. If anybody speaks to Tim tonight, I'm a huge deer hunter, duck hunter, turkey hunter. I'd love to get in the ladder stand in the morning. I'm still trying to convince Tim on that. I need a bow and arrow. I didn't bring mine. But if anybody wants to help me out with that, I'd love to get in the tree stand in the morning. But Nathan, I would say you've definitely got your hands full with Tim. Miss Sheridan, coming to y'all's farm, you're an angel. I thank you guys for everything. Y'all have been so welcoming every time we've come to Tuscaloosa. I'm a huge Auburn fan, so it's tough to come to this town, especially being the losers that we are. But it's nice to be around winners every now and then. And trust me, being an Auburn fan, you're very humble, so I can say that with much humbleness. Cindy and Lyndall, yeah, y'all can make fun of me for saying humbleness. But hell, War Eagle, come on, what is I'm just going to take this out. Cindy and Lyndall, you guys have been amazing. I mean, I know y'all have seen the 5 that I named in that group text, from knee-high to a grasshopper. I mean, we've grown up swinging golf clubs, wrecking jet skis, breaking wakeboards. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Y'all have so many reasons to just sit down and pray for us every night. So they don't have. But I seriously can't thank you two enough. Y'all have been great role models as parents, mentors, leaders. Just literally everything y'all do in life has just been a leading example. And I truly, truly thank y'all for that. So I just would like to close and say thank you to the Glasgows, thank you to the Harrisons. I wish Nathan and Hallie, y'all the best of best, and I know it'll be just that.
All right, who's next? Who wants to be next?
Well, hell fine. Get up there and start stuff.
Anybody else?
Let's go, Ray. Come on, Mr. Cowboy.
All right. So,
BG.
PG. Parental guidance. Like you've done that so well. No, Ray knows a lot more about raising Hallie as a young child. She came into my life a little later and just blessed my family. Their family has, and it's just been a great thing. And the Harrisons raised 3 girls, and I'm just doorstepping right behind them, and they have helped me raise 3 girls. They've helped me keep sanity and keep my calmness, and we're still trying to figure out how to deal with these boys that I'm not dealing well with, that Tim says it's going to be all right, but Ray kind of was raised around that with him and did a lot of sports.
Yep, 2 girls. Of course, known Hallie, all the girls, all their life. Love them. Accepted Nathan, much like Tim. Great guy. Could not be prouder. Proud of y'all, both of you.
It takes a wonderful team to make the smiles that you guys make for each other, and it's pretty obvious. Like they said, everybody got to meet you as a couple in different places at different times, but for you to be able to come into our lives the way you did to pass Hallie's test, then pass Tim's test to come hang out with us, I'm thinking, well, we were taking you anyways, but then you kind of stepped up the bar. So, as you know, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I get to do a few weddings and toasts. So here's Uncle Mike's life hack. Have a church and attend it. Have a dinner table and use it. It'll make raising a family and starting a life a lot easier. We love you, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life.
Love y'all.
The Harrison girls are my girls. All 3 of them we've grown up with my 2 girls. I was a little ahead of Tim. One of the funniest things that's happened to me in recent years, and this isn't Hallie, this is for me. I called over to Harrison one day. I said, I need to talk to whoever's in charge of this project. They said, okay, that's Nathan. I said, okay, I need to talk to Nathan. Nathan comes on the phone, and I listen. I said, Tim? Is this Tim? No, this is Nathan. I went, oh my God. So, Hallie, I don't know. It was Nathan, it wasn't him. And unfortunately, they sound very much alike. I hope that's not an omen or something.
Nathan says he thinks we're good. Hallie, we good?
Come on, one more.
Dr. Ross. Oh, no, Ross. Go ahead and pull the microphone out and get comfortable. There you go.
Hey everybody. So I am Addison's fiance, the youngest sister. Thank you. Hey, keep it down, Rick. Okay. So I actually knew Hallie long before Nathan, and
I never got for you.
we'll see. And I actually used Hallie as a homecoming date, incredible homecoming date, to get a little closer to Addison. And the rest is history, clearly. But I met Nathan. It was at a date party, and it was the first date. And he walked up, shook my hand, and I knew immediately, I mean, this guy is gonna fit right in with our crew. Coolest guy you could ever ask to be around. Could not ask for a better future brother-in-law. You are like family to me. Great guy. Hallie, you found a good one. Nathan, you found an even better one. Wish you guys all the best in the future. I love you both, and you know.
Anyone else? Well, it has been a great night. It's been a blessing for our family for you to be here, and we are just so thankful. Nathan and Hallie, would you like to say anything?
I would like to say thank y'all all for coming, and we love each and every one of y'all, and it's been a huge blessing for y'all to be here tonight, and we're going to celebrate tomorrow night. Y'all have fun tomorrow night, that's all I can say.
So we're like I said, it's just been really, really good. It's been a great evening. I've loved hearing all these stories, and we love the opportunity to meet and talk with each one of you more and more. And so from our family to yours, I'd like to say this. From God's word, he blesses us, and you have blessed us tonight. And so I pray his blessings back on you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. God bless Nathan and Hallie. God bless each of you. Have a great night. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and roll